Welcome to another thrilling episode on our channel, where tonight we venture into one of the most terrifying tales ever told. If you're a fan of horror and adventure, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more spine-chilling stories, and leave a comment with your thoughts on this terrifying journey. Now, dim the lights, sit back, and let the fear take over. It was a cold, bitter October night when four friends, Jack, Emma, Sophie, and Daniel, decided to embark on a weekend adventure that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. They had heard about Blackwood Mansion for years, an ancient manor deep in the forest, hidden from civilization. The stories surrounding it were unnerving. Disappearances, strange lights at night, eerie screams echoing through the trees. But none of them believed in ghosts, and they were looking for a thrill. Something different, something dangerous. The trip started innocently enough, with laughter and excitement as they drove along the winding dark road leading to the mansion. By the time they arrived, the night sky was a deep, inky black, the moon hidden behind thick clouds. The mansion loomed before them, tall and foreboding, its crumbling stone walls covered in ivy, windows shattered, and the iron gate hanging askew. It was as if the house had been waiting for them. The moment they stepped out of the car, an icy wind whipped through the trees, howling like a warning. But the group pressed on, determined to prove they weren't afraid. The mansion's front door creaked open easily, though it was heavy and old, as if it had been expecting them. Inside, the air was cold and stale, carrying the unmistakable scent of decay. Their footsteps echoed through the grand, dusty halls, where faded portraits lined the walls, each face staring at them with lifeless eyes, almost as if the paintings were watching their every move. Jack, always the fearless leader, suggested they explore the mansion, splitting up to cover more ground. They agreed, though there was an unspoken tension growing between them. As Jack and Emma wandered through the east wing, Sophie and Daniel headed toward the western side of the house. Each hallway seemed to stretch endlessly, and with every step, the creaking floorboards groaned louder, as if the house was protesting their intrusion. Hours passed, and the house felt more like a maze. Hallways that once led them back to the entrance seemed to twist and turn, leading them deeper into the mansion. Jack and Emma stumbled upon an old library, filled with rotting books and furniture covered in thick dust. There was something strange about the room, though. Books lay open on the floor, as if someone had been there recently, though the dust told a different story. One book in particular caught Emma's eye. It was bound in dark, cracked leather, and lay open on a pedestal in the center of the room. When she looked closer, she saw that the pages were filled with strange symbols and handwritten notes in a language she couldn't understand. Jack dismissed it as nonsense, but Emma couldn't shake the feeling that the book was important. She tucked it under her arm, intending to show the others later. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the mansion, Sophie and Daniel were experiencing something far more unsettling. They had found themselves in what appeared to be a child's playroom, though the toys were far from innocent. Dolls with cracked faces and missing eyes sat in a circle on the floor, their heads turned toward the door as if they had been watching for someone to enter. The air felt wrong, thick with an unseen presence, and Daniel's flashlight flickered as he scanned the room. Then, without warning, the door slammed shut behind them with a deafening bang. Panic set in. Daniel rushed to the door, but no matter how hard he pulled, it wouldn't budge. Sophie began to scream for help, but the walls seemed to absorb the sound, muffling her cries. Suddenly, one of the dolls on the floor moved. Its head turned ever so slightly, and its glass eyes locked onto Sophie. Both of them froze, their hearts pounding in their chests. Then, all at once, the toys in the room began to shake violently, as if something was trying to break free from within them. In a flash, Daniel grabbed a chair and smashed it through the window, pulling Sophie through just as the toys began to shatter one by one, releasing a thick, black smoke that filled the room. Reuniting with Jack and Emma, the group quickly realized they were not alone in the mansion. Doors that had once been open were now locked, and every mirror they passed reflected not themselves, but twisted, ghastly versions of who they were. Pale faces, wide, soulless eyes, and grotesque smiles. In a desperate attempt to escape, they made their way to the basement, hoping to find another exit. The basement, however, was worse than anything they had imagined. The walls were covered in strange markings, symbols that matched the ones in the bow.